All right, let's talk about something big: strategic management. Sounds a bit corporate, right? But really, it's the secret sauce that separates the organizations that totally crush it from the ones that just, well, drift along. It's all about having a plan for the future and, actually making it happen.
I mean, seriously, think about it. You've got this massive organization, right? Thousands of people, millions of customers. How on earth do you decide where to point that thing? It's like you're the captain of a giant ship, sailing through these totally unpredictable waters. You can't just wing it, can you? You can't just aim for the horizon and hope you don't hit an iceberg. No way. You need a plan, a really good one.
So that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going on a strategic journey. And yeah, we're really going to lean into this whole voyage thing because honestly, it's the perfect analogy. Just like a ship needs to know its destination and how to handle a storm, a company needs to know exactly where it's headed and how it's going to deal with whatever the market throws at it.
And look, any good journey, I don't care if you're sailing the seas or building a business, comes down to two things. You need a destination, right? Someplace you're actually trying to get to, and you need a map to show you how to get there. Without those, you're just floating, aimlessly. And in the business world, that map, well, that's what we call the strategic management process.
Okay, so this right here, this is our master map for today. It shows you the whole shebang. We're going to start by figuring out our destination. That's strategic intent. Then we'll check the weather and make sure our ship is sound. That's strategic analysis. After that, we actually draw our route, put the plan into action, and this is super important. We keep checking our compass the entire time. That last part is evaluation and control. This is the full journey laid out for you.
First things first, every single journey has to start with a simple question. Where are we going? On our map, that's step one, strategic intent. This is all about locking in your destination before you even think about raising the sails.
Now, strategic intent isn't just some buzzword for a single idea. It's actually more like a hierarchy, or think of it like a waterfall. It starts way up high with these huge, dreamy ideas. That's your vision. And then it cascades down, getting more and more concrete until you have an actual strategy at the bottom. Each level kind of makes the one above it make more sense.
So at the very top of that waterfall, you've got the vision. This is the big one. It's the North Star for our ship. You know, that one bright, distant light on the horizon that you are always sailing towards no matter what. It's the ultimate someday, and we're talking way out there, maybe 15 years or even more down the line. To put it really simply, a vision isn't about what your company is today. Not at all. It's about what it dreams of becoming. This is the big, hairy, audacious goal that fuels the whole entire journey. It's your ultimate why.
Okay, let's step down one level to the mission. So if the vision is that far-off destination, the mission is the purpose of the trip right now. It's about what our ship is actually doing today. What business are we in? Who are our customers? Why do we even exist in the first place?
Yeah, the mission yanks us out of the clouds of someday and plants our feet firmly on the ground of today. It's not about what we want to be. It's about what we do. This is the what, the stuff that keeps the lights on and powers the organization every single day.
So here's the difference in a nutshell. Vision is your future why. Mission is your present what. It's that simple. So like a company's vision could be something grand, like a world powered by clean energy. Awesome. But its mission, what it does today, is build the best electric cars. See the difference? You absolutely need both to steer the ship.
But just having a mission isn't quite enough to actually navigate. We need specific coordinates on our map, right? That's where objectives and goals come in. They take that big mission and break it down into smaller, measurable milestones so we can actually tell if we're making progress. And yeah, there's a really important difference between the two. Goals are the big, broad things. They're more long-term, kind of qualitative, like become a leader in our industry. Cool. But how? That's where objectives come in. Objectives are super specific, short-term, and you can measure them. Like, increase our market share by 5% this quarter. You see, the objectives are the concrete steps you take to actually achieve your goals.
Okay, so we've got our destination locked in. We've got the vision, the mission, the goals, the objectives. We're set. Now it's time for the really fun part, actually charting the course. And that means we need to analyze our surroundings and cook up a solid plan.
I mean, think about it. You would never, ever set sail without checking the weather forecast or making sure your ship isn't, leaking. It's the exact same idea in business. Strategic analysis is all about looking outside at the weather, the currents, other ships to spot your opportunities and threats. And then you look inside at your ship, your crew, your supplies, to figure out your strengths and weaknesses. And that, my friends, is the good old SWOT analysis. So once you've done all that homework, you move on to strategy formulation. This is the moment. This is when the captain and the first mate get together, spread the maps out on the table, and actually draw the line from where they are to where they want to go. It's about turning all that info into a real actionable plan. And the process for this is super logical. It's just one step after another. You start with your mission, then you do that SWOT analysis we just talked about: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. With that reality check in hand, you can start brainstorming a few different ways you could get there, different routes, and then you pick the one that makes the most sense. That's your strategy. And it's also really important to get that strategy isn't just one thing. It's not one size fits all, especially in a big company. You've got strategy at 3 different levels. Think of it this way. Corporate strategy is the plan for the entire fleet of ships. Business strategy is the plan for one specific ship in that fleet. And functional strategy, that's the plan for a single department on that ship, like the folks in the engine room or the marketing team. All right, the plan is locked in. The course is on the map. Now comes the exciting part. We actually set sail. But it's also about making sure we stay on course. This is where all that planning smacks right into reality. Because, let's be real, a perfect map is totally useless if it just stays rolled up in the captain's office. Strategy implementation is where the rubber meets the road, or where the hull meets the water. It's where the whole crew, the entire company, actually puts the plan into motion. And honestly, this is where most plans fall apart. Not because the strategy was bad, but because it's really, really hard to get everyone pulling the ropes in the same direction. And the journey is never over once you set sail. The ocean is, well, it's the ocean. It's unpredictable. Storms pop up, the wind shifts. And that's exactly why you need strategy, evaluation, and control. It's about constantly, and I mean constantly, checking your compass, looking at your progress, and making those little adjustments to the rudder to make sure you're still pointed toward your destination. And this, right here, is probably the most important takeaway. Strategy isn't some dusty binder on a shelf that you look at once a year. It's a living, breathing cycle. You do the thing, you check how it went, you learn from it, and then you use what you learned to make your plan even better for the next part of the trip. It never stops. Whew, we've covered a lot of ocean today, haven't we? From that big, dreamy vision all the way down to the nitty-gritty of checking the compass every day. So let's wrap this all up. At the end of the day, this whole strategic framework is about one thing: being the captain of your own ship instead of just getting tossed around by the waves. And hey, this isn't just for giant companies. It works for a small business. It works for a nonprofit. It even works for you personally in your own career. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What's your North Star? And what's your plan to get there? Thanks for joining me.